Revit allows us to do calculations inside of our schedules, and it considers this a calculated value based off of the data of those modeled objects in the Revit project. In this instance, we're going to do something which is a little bit odd, but we might be able to find some sort of use for the information, and that is we're going to find the total square footage of doors inside of the project. To do this, we need to consider the width and height of each door, and then how much square footage of material is that going to be. In this instance, what we need to do is come underneath Fields and then select the Edit button under Properties. From here, we need to create a new calculated value. So we'll select on Calculated Value, and we need to give this a name. And I'm just going to call this SF for square footage. Underneath Type, we're going to select there, and this is going to be an area calculation. So we'll make sure that that says area. The formula, well, we could start to type it in, but one thing to know is if you do type this in, if we would type in width, it would have to have a capital W. If we type in height, it would have to have a capital H. In this case, though, I'm just going to click on the little buttons over toward the right-hand side, and we can see that there's two options here, width and height. And I'll select on one of them so I don't have to retype it in, and we know that the case sensitivity has already been fixed by just selecting it off of the list. Do a space, and now put an asterisk symbol in. That stands for multiplication. Do another space, and then click on the little buttons over here on the side. And for this one, I want to choose height and pick on OK. The formula to find the area of the doors will be width times the height. If I click on OK to that, we can now see that it has square footage associated with it. Now, this is not going to be the final parameter that I do, but I do want to show you what the results are going to be. So if I click on OK to this, we can see that each door has 42 or 21 square feet, depending on the dimensions associated with the door. Now, what I'd really like to do, though, is get a total square footage for this. So to do that, we once again need to come in here, and I'll select on Fields and Edit. Now, I won't make a change directly to the square footage information, but where I do want to make a change, first off, actually will be sorting and grouping. From here, double check and make sure that grand totals is highlighted. Now, where we have formatting, click where it has square footage, and make sure you put a check mark for calculate totals. This will calculate the total number, so it'll be 6 times the square foot, and that should give us the total square foot for that material. Now click on OK to that, and now we can see the total square foot for all of this type of door. So 6 times the 42 is 252, and they've done that calculation again and again and again, so that we now know that we have a grand total of 2,385 square feet of door. If we just use Revit's regular properties and categories, we wouldn't be able to figure this out because this is not a typical statistic that Revit would generate. But by adding in our own formulas, we can do this with a wide range of Revit families, particularly if we're trying to get information like square footage information, where we would have 2 dimensions, such as a width and a height, and we want to figure out how much area, square footage, it is that that entity takes up.